recording. Alright, so this is, again, a recording of a past history. Had to restart. I didn't have to mention that.
Alright, we're just gonna have to go on three.
Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Three.
There we go. Alright. Yeah. So you accidentally drew, or did you think it was on top?
I thought it was on top because it's rare that I actually use this deck, and when I saw that it wasn't, I checked and it was on bottom instead. And I
Ah.
remember why now. This is actually one of those decks where I changed the starter. Because originally it was the when a limit break 4 hits and it's boosted by that unit, draw a card. And I decided Bubble Edge was just a better option.
Yeah, sad part here is I started with 2 of my draw triggers in my
Oh,
hand.
I remember what I did. I redrew twice because I didn't get a grade 2 in my first two checks.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Which is the worst part, because I might have redrawn again. But,
It didn't matter.
yeah, it didn't really matter. I had a really nice starting hand anyways, so.
Well, you had a good starting hand with the exception of the fact that those two draw triggers are never going to see trigger action.
Yeah, with the exception of that, that was a pretty decent starting hand. Yeah.
And now for my turn, I decide to go Kipris and just rush as much as I can with an Aqua Force deck at grade 1.
Yeah, rushing at grade 1 can work, especially with Aquaforce.
Well, it's the Aqua Force way.
Yeah.
If we're both at grade 1, then this is gonna take you to 3 damage. Unless you decide to early guard.
Yeah. Which I did, because I wasn't going to 3 damage.
Well, at this point, I don't even think you realized I was going to get 3 damage, but then suddenly, stand trigger.
Yeah.
And that's when Bull says, fuck that.
Yeah. That's weird. Are you slightly behind me? Like, I just activated my, starter ability.
I think I'm a few seconds behind, so we'll just base it on that.
Okay. Yeah, you're a few seconds behind, because I just used my starter ability, and all of
Okay,
my...
so you're, in my side, you're doing it now.
Oh yeah, I'm shuffling them back to the bottom. Well, not shuffling them, just putting them on bottom.
Did you actually shuffle? Have we confirmed or denied that yet?
No, we haven't. We'll see. It'll probably come up. We'll find out before the end of this game. But they weren't in the right order, so I'm pretty sure I shuffled.
Was it like an accidental check or something?
Maybe. I have no idea.
But yeah, I see you putting everything back, and then after that you played the Bullseye Mia.
Yeah. Bullseye.
And then
It says accurate Mia for me. Weird.
But look at the name on the card, like in the picture.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, Bullseye Mia.
That's really weird. Yeah, you're already attacking me with your 10k and using your card slightly wrong.
Yeah,
Well,
this is where I started to F up.
Yeah, because I also got really lucky with that stand trigger.
That's one of the things that was the problem, but it was just the fact that I was kind of doing it wrong regardless.
I don't know why I chose to guard with the draw trigger and not the bear.
I'm guessing that you didn't want a soul charge yet.
That's probably it. Maybe I thought my soul was okay.
Either that, or you probably were thinking of using the bear as an attacker later.
I was thinking probably that because I can always call him to the guard circle from the
I'm
rear
thinking
guard.
because I had an AK Vanguard, you were originally going to hit me with that bear, and then you, for some reason, decided against it.
Yeah.
You decided, I'd rather keep this in my hand and soul charge with it later, because otherwise he's going to, oh, I just saw that one stand that decided to troll me. Get used to that.
Yeah, the stand's trolling you.
These things like me, but they hate me.
Yeah. Also, the draw of Luquier kind of made me... I was like, Do I really want to play bear right now? Drawing Lukier just made it all the more. I was like, likely next turn I will be at 4 damage, and I will just ride Lukier, and having more soul will be better. So,
So I'm better off keeping this in my hand and just guarding with it.
yeah.
But of
Should
course, by doing that, it meant that you could only do like 1 damage to it because I didn't see criticals in this, or at least not a lot of them.
There's 5 criticals in here.
That's odd because I don't see many. I see a poison juggler in the damage, so I know you have some, but I don't see enough to warrant 5.
There's five criticals, 5 draw, 2 stand, and 4 heal initially. And now I've
That
just changed it to rainbow.
that's unique and kind of odd.
That was because I didn't want to not have stands, and I didn't want to short myself on criticals, and draws were really nice for the deck.
In other words, you
Yeah,
wanted to have draw triggers because they're good triggers. You wanted critical triggers because critical trigger, and you wanted stand triggers so that you couldn't not have stand triggers.
well, I want to stand triggers because unflip.
Ah,
Because that
then why
stand
just
trigger.
two? Then why just two?
Because I didn't really want to run a ton of them, was the thing. I was just thinking, like, why do I want to run a bunch of stand triggers in a deck that's going to send the things that'll be stood back to my soul anyways?
Oh, have you noticed that my hand is all triggers by the time I hit grade 3?
Yeah, I've noticed. Like, the only
That's
non-trigger is freaking, Oh, well, now it's, the auto stand guy whose name I don't remember.
oh right. Title assault.
Yeah, Tidal Assault and then, Glory Maelstrom. But, yeah, so at this point I was like, well, shit, I'm not at 4 damage.
You had to not you just had to heal.
Yeah, and then at this point,
I
once
was
I
actually
played Jill.
surprised that I'm surprised that you did things the way you did. And I'm saying this because I'm still slightly behind.
Oh, yeah.
I need to fix that.
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, I can't pause this, sadly. The replay's not
I
pausable.
know. I mean, I technically could go back and then do a double speed to catch or a triple speed to catch up with you, but then I'm gonna pull ahead.
Yeah, but pulling ahead means you'd know what's gonna happen, which means you can react to it at the same time anyways.
All right, so I'm gonna do that then.
Yeah, you do that. But yeah,
But at the same time, I do remember the fight enough for us to keep the commentary going on this.
yeah, because this was really amazing. Also note, we did this at, like, it was closing on midnight when this fight happened,
Yes, it was a very late match.
and it took forever.
It did actually, especially because you were thinking a lot in this game.
It's partially because this is actually my first time using Pale Moons.
Well, that does make a lot of sense, especially in terms of how well, you were a lot more patient with it than you are with pretty much any other deck you use ever.
Yeah, I had more faith in Pale Moon paying off later than I do in most decks.
Well, more the fact that you just looked at this deck and saw that it wasn't aggressive, and part of that was because I made you try Spike Brothers, so you saw the opposite spectrum.
Yeah, I've realized how decks aren't necessarily completely aggressive and how I can't just work them to be aggressive.
Because you've seen what the most aggressive deck in the game looks like.
Yeah. It's really weird to say the least, but
I remember I actually made Asuka do that, and even the first time she ever did it, she realized this deck is too aggressive.
I don't think it's too aggressive, but it's fun.
It's a matter of style. When you take someone who's started off with Oracle, Think Tank, and Pale Moons and made them aggressive, and use things like Shadow Paladins, which kind of are a mix, and then
Right.
you give her the most aggressive thing imaginable, it's disorienting.
Yeah. I think I've always been using aggressive oriented decks. My first deck ever was Overlord.
That explains a lot because that's Overlord is an aggressive card in a defensive deck, which I always thought was weird. Like it's the
Yeah,
most aggressive card in a very defensive deck.
yeah, it's true.
The funny thing is, I'm already back to where I was when I stopped the video, the replay.
Ah, I'm 2 turns ahead of that. I have 2 Jills on the front line and a jumping Grain in the back behind one of the Jills, and I'm attacking Tidal Assault.
Oh yeah, because you didn't realize that I have Basil. I don't need Tidal Assault on the field.
Yeah, I was kind of debating. I was like, do I want to attack Tidal Assault or do I want to attack the Theo because Basil's in the back where I can't reach him? And I was like, I'll
That's
attack
one of
Tidal
the
Assault
really That's
because
actually one
he's
of the really
intercept.
great things about about Basil is that he's almost unattackable.
Yeah,
There are very few decks that can actually deal with a Basil or a Diamantis, and I like Basil more just because you run the risk of riding Diamantis, and you don't want to do that.
yeah,
But the 8K that goes into 10K is a problem. I My deck has an offset for that, but I don't get it till near the end of the game when it doesn't matter anymore.
yeah.
Because I have the one Porpoise in this deck where if I use it, it can actually rest itself and give 2K to one of my Aqua Force cards. I usually use that with Basil so it can attack for 12. And as long as I have those 2 cards on the field at the same time, it can constantly do that.
Uh,
Problem is, the odds of
I'm.
being able to do that are low.
You just drew your second bubble edge. That's where I am right now. But I was gonna
I'm
say
almost there because I just did the heal. I just did the double draw from Tidal Assault. I love that ruling.
yeah, I got
It's so fucking abusable.
yeah. I made a mistake um during my turn.
Attacking Tidal Edge
Kind of,
instead
but
of
when I was
attacking
at
Tidal
when I
Assault.
double triggered, my instincts made me give the critical right to Vanguard, and if I was thinking I should have given it to Jill. And
I
either
was actually wondering why you did that
because my instincts
because
kicked in, and all I did was I need to hit for damage.
I need damage. I need damage.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Okay,
what.
I'm actually caught up now because I just drew the bubble edge.
Yeah.
And look, I even say what
What
the
the? Yeah, and then you're like,
okay.
okay, I'll do this. You give the skill to the Vanguard. I'm gonna be watch more carefully this time, but I'm
Okay, see, here's
pretty.
one thing that I did wrong that I could have done differently. Well, actually, no. With my setup, I did the right thing. I was about to say I could have used the twin shooter in my hand
Uh,
and used it to attack so that it would be and if I can stand trigger.
yeah, the thing.
I think there's at least 3 instances in which I have to stand Basil and it means nothing.
Yeah, you also
At least
attacked my
3.
Vanguard with Glory for some reason instead of the other Jill.
Oh no, there's actually a reason for that.
Oh, what's the reason
The
for that?
the only way that Tetra Drive Dragon's attack works is if the fourth attack is to the Vanguard.
Oh, I never actually knew that.
Yeah,
That's
so for the fourth attack, I had to go for the Vanguard with the fourth at battle, or I couldn't restand. So I had to just make it a whiff attack.
okay. I never knew it
That's
had to
actually
target.
isn't actually a misplay. I had to do that.
Yeah, did you draw for that bubble edge?
No, I twin drove Tidal Assault and Theo. I never drew. Actually, I was supposed to draw Tidal Assault, first check Theo, and then second check would have been whatever comes after that. And I think I take a damage this turn, so we can
Yeah,
see what it is.
we'll find out. I'm pretty sure with how
What the
beautiful.
fuck?
What?
Did you put Bullseye Mia into the soul to take some to
Yeah,
put?
I called out Trapeze from my soul, put me in, and called out Grain.
Oh right, okay. Because for a second I thought that you put her in and took something out because of
Lukier skill? No.
yeah.
That's why I called out Trapeze. I figured you. Because I called Trapeze so I wouldn't have to kill Bullseye Mia.
Oh, I remember what I did here. I took your Vanguard attack because I'm like 51K. Fuck guarding.
Yeah. Yeah, this turned into a 51k Vanguard attack, which surprised the hell out of me because I wasn't quite ready for it
The
to be that
trolliest
much.
thing about that situation was you grabbed a stand trigger out of it.
Yeah, that was the worst
And
part.
then I got a draw trigger. Only Nova can draw at that moment.
Yeah, only Nova can draw at this moment. I was like, eh. So yeah, you would have checked the draw trigger actually.
I would have checked a draw trigger, gotten a draw, and it would have actually and drawn a Kipris, and it would have helped my hand.
Yeah.
And let me see what the top deck is. Oh right, you took a minute to bask in the fact that you worked hard like that, and then it glory. Actually, it's technically better that I didn't, as opposed to anything.
Yeah. I'm about to attack with the 51k Vanguard Lukier on my screen, so
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll say right now, 5K Lukier attack. I don't guard and I take and then I take a damage to draw trigger. I didn't know you had 5 criticals. I thought you had less than that, so I took a hell of a lot more of a risk than I thought I did.
yeah, you took a lot more of a risk than you thought. Cause notably, there's 3 in my hand, and there's one in my damage. So actually, I only had 1 left in deck, anyways.
Yeah, so that's actually good.
Oh, this is where the replay glitches out and it says I don't have a deck when I do.
Yeah, that's actually funny, and it's actually good because at this point, Basil becomes really amazing because now I can actually hit your Vanguard. And I think you noticed this immediately and switched the second you could.
Yeah, the moment I noticed, I was like, nope, that's not staying Lukier.
Like, nope, none of this shit, no more.
Yeah, like the instant you attacked with Basil and I realized I had to guard, I was like, no, 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 no. It's like, we're going back to Ava. She's still in my hand.
And then at that point, the funny thing is, I almost rode Glory, and I was seriously contemplating doing it. Looking at your hand now, I'm really glad I didn't because it wouldn't have mean jack shit.
Yeah,
I decided I would have been better off getting the other twin drive, which was good because stand trigger came out of it. The funny thing is, I actually took a second to think, okay, there's one left. What are the odds that that fucker's at the top of my deck?
yeah,
And the
yeah,
funny thing is, you had no idea what I was talking until the deck it came, and I just said the fucker was at the top of my deck.
yeah.
Of
I
course, at this point now, I fully am aware that I have no stand triggers left.
yeah, I just watched you misplay Maelstrom on top.
Technically, it was a misplay, but it was more the fact that I was thinking about it.
Yeah, I didn't really mind it because it's okay. It doesn't really matter to me. There's another point
Like,
where you later on, I'll tell you when we get there.
yeah,
You'll notice it long before me, but
I will. And you just got to the point, Ava.
uh
And you started thinking a lot to the point where I thought you DC'd because the funniest thing about the situation is when you ride Ava, there's really not much to think about.
I don't know. I'll tell
I
you when we
think I
get there
know.
why I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet I already know. It's because I have a trapeze in my hand and I was considering retiring one to send a Jill to Soul, so one of my attacks would force 10k guard.
Okay. I'm gonna say right now that probably would have been a waste of hand, and I probably would have won the turn after had you done that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's not worth it. Oh yeah, yeah. Right here is when you're attacking me with Basil, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, that can't hit. And then I looked again, and I was like, shit.
And you immediately just said, "No, we can't do this anymore."
Yeah, because then I was like, shit. I now have to guard every one of these attacks.
Your advantage was lost, and you hated it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was like, okay. So I'm gonna guard the ones I can guard. I don't remember if I guard the 18k Maelstrom attack. I'll find out in a second.
Um, you'll find out, but I'll say right now, I don't think you do.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I take the 18k one because I was like, I'm not gonna use more guard for this. I'm just gonna guard the ones that are easy guard and let that one through because I can take one, and we'd both be at 5 damage.
Oh crap! I just
Yeah,
realized.
yeah, I do take
Okay.
the 18.
Yeah. You 18 so that you can guard my other unit. And okay, I'm just okay. I'm reaching the end of the match, and you are so fucking lucky.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna say why, but you are so fucking lucky.
yeah, and then I guarded Tetra for no pass because I was like, I have so much guard in my hand right now.
Yeah, you just realized, you know what? I can guard this. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's like I had enough hand and I had enough field that I felt safe. The one part that I wasn't expecting when it came up later was when you well, I'll just get to it when it comes up. Cause
Yeah,
I
when it comes up.
Yeah, it'll come up eventually. There's a lot of things in this match that caught me off guard, like some of my own effects that I wasn't really ready for.
There's actually a lot of things in here that the funny thing is that you're at the part where you say fuck Luke Weir and ride Ava, right?
Yeah, where I'm taking forever to decide.
I'm just gonna say right now that for all intents and purposes, you should have lost after this turn.
Oh yeah, yeah, 'cause you didn't trigger once, and I kept guarding for one to pass.
Not only that, but it was just a general fact that, well, yeah, it was basically that, and the fact of what happened right after, which is funny as shit.
Oh yeah, I know what happens right after.
So, what were you thinking about anyway?
I think I was already thinking about the trapeze effect and whether I wanted to do it or not before I even played Ava.
All I'm gonna say is, had you decided to do that, I would have won.
Yeah, had I decided to do
Literally,
that.
had you decided to do that, I would have won. That's literally what it came down to, was you having one good decision of not being as aggressive as what you probably wanted to be.
Yeah, but I was like, it's okay. It's okay. We can't do this right now. It's going to be a waste of hand and a waste of time. He's got so much hand that it's not worth it, is what I was thinking. Like, it's just going to waste my hand to try and force more out of his hand.
And you, between the two positions we were in, you had more lose than me.
Yeah.
And I get, in the end, that's basically all it came down to, was you had more to lose than me. You noticed it, and you acted accordingly. Whereas you could have very, and I mean very easily, overextended yourself and messed up.
Yeah.
I technically overextended myself and messed up, but well, let me just put it this way: the more I look back at the footage, the more I realize that me not doing it would have made no difference compared to me doing it.
Oh yeah, this is the part that I was saying you messed up because you sacked a basil for Kypris, and then you returned Kypris to your hand and played the basil from your hand instead of the one from your drop zone.
No, what I was no, there's a reason because I played the critical trigger first and then put it into soul, so I
Yeah,
could
yeah.
unflip one.
Oh yeah, and that was the other thing. I got really caught off guard by this critical unflip that I didn't know existed. And I was just like, shit, Tetra's gonna stand.
The funny thing is, I wasn't thinking about doing that until I looked at the critical trigger and I'm like, wait a minute, Aqua Force have an unflip. I put it in this deck. I can unflip.
I can unflip and stand Tetra, and I was just like, shit. Welp.
And that was when everything you did had to change.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, one to pass. And I was like, please don't trigger. Please don't trigger.
And unfortunately, I don't trigger. I actually got the porpoise I was talking about in the twin drive as well, or at least by this point I have it.
Yeah, he's right there in your hand, the little seal.
Like I said, what he does is he rests himself and gives one of my units plus 2k. The deck is designed where I'm supposed to use him with Basil so that I can hit 11k vanguards with him. The only problem was they didn't come up at the same time. I didn't get a transcore until the end either, which is weird.
Yeah, there's one in your damage, but
So it's like everything that this deck is meant to do didn't happen, but I still found a way to make it work.
yeah.
You lucked out because you won past me twice and I didn't get anything.
Yeah, I won past you twice, and I didn't. It's so lucky that you didn't get anything.
Yeah, because literally one trigger, no matter what it was, would have ended you. Because
Yeah,
you were out of heals by that point.
yep. I didn't realize that either, which is the worst part.
I think that's one of the reasons why you were one passing, because you thought maybe I can still heal.
Yeah. Brake ride the reverse. Lock the grain.
Yeah, and then I looked at him like, well, shit, this is bad. I don't have guard. All I have is a grade 3. All I have is a grade 1, a grade 3, and a perfect guard, which I can use with the grade 3 to make a guard. But
There's
I don't
five.
have intercepts.
Yeah, and there's 5 attacks coming at you.
I didn't even remember Ava's skill. That's how bad the situation was
Then
to
you
me.
sixth healed, which was terrible, and I was just like, eh.
The
And you're
funny
like,
thing is, no, it gets worse because right after the sixth heal, I
yeah.
realize I still can't guard. I take a damage and it's critical trigger. So not only did not only did you one pass me twice through two twin drives and I didn't get a trigger, but I immediately had two triggers right after.
Oh yeah, that is.
So it literally comes down to if I had drawn for Tidal Assault, I mean, if I had drawn for the second bubble edge like I was supposed to, I probably would have gotten that crit trigger and won. If everything else went exactly as it did.
Yeah.
That's literally what this game came down to.
Yeah, as you forgot to draw for your bubble edge. Wow.
So
Uh,
yeah, guys, the littlest things can make the difference in a long-winded card fight like this.
yeah, holy crap. I was down to 7 cards in deck at the end of that, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I was and I was like at 10, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think you're at like 10. So this match took forever because we weren't really drawing all that much. Well, you were, but you were still. I soul
Well, I
charged
should
more.
have drew more than I did. You
Yeah.
drew because of draw triggers, but in
Also,
the
you know something I hate about Ava though?
what's that?
Her attack skill is forced.
You mean the soul charge?
Yeah.
It is, but at the same time, you kind of want the soul.
I guess so, but there's times like near the end of the game where I didn't I didn't know I was gonna have the reverse Lukier. So it was like, shit. Every turn now I'm gonna be draining myself 4 cards instead of just 3.
Yeah,
Because we were getting near the end and I could tell I was running out of cards quickly. And then drove checked the reverse Lukier and I was like, oh, beautiful. If I can make it to next turn. And then you unflipped and I was like, if I can make it to next turn.
yeah. I was just thinking about it, like, okay, if I do this, he probably can't make it to next turn.
Yeah, that was just crazy. So yeah,
It
guys.
was.
Once again, the littlest things can mean a lot in the long run. Because that's what this came down to.
All members of DS, keep in mind, check all your plays. Everything counts, even the little shit.
Yeah, everything counts.